G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in over on the west side of the map, we've got Beastie Cutie who is playing as the French. And on the other side of the match, playing in the Abbasid dynasty, in the color red, it is Marinelord. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 4 between these two titans of Age of Empires 4. Currently, rank number 1, it's Marinelord. Rank number 2 is Mr. Beastie Cutie. So these guys, rank number 1 up against rank number 2. And I'm confident this is going to be an absolute banger of a game because we've got a classic matchup. This is a classic, in my opinion, it's a classic. It goes back to the old school days, right after the French was released, where French became one of the strongest civilizations. Abbasid was theorized as a counter to them just because of the way that the camels function, the aura that they provide. So that is the reason why. So I would say at the moment in the current meta that the French are definitely at a disadvantage when playing against the Abbasid. I would say it's not particularly fair. If I had to give odds, I'd say maybe 60-40 to the Abbasid dynasty. So I think that for this game, with the way that it is going, you know, on a dry Arabian map, that Marinelord would have to be, you know, he would have to be map fucked, or he would have to make significant mistakes, or Beastie Cutie would just have to outplay him to a distinct level. So, as an example, what's the difference between an outplay and a mistake? So a mistake might be, you know, not dodging a mangonel shot, whereas an outplay might be something like a proxy. So as an example, you know, in that last game that we watched, we saw the proxy coming in from Marinelord. So he was going for an outplay, but then Beastie, you know, he didn't forget about that villager that he scouted at the exact same time. So it was more just, you know, he knew what his enemy was throwing at him and he was able to counter it. So that was essentially it. But let's talk a little bit about this game, what we've got unfolding, because this is, as I mentioned, it's a classic matchup. Plenty of sheep coming in for Beastie. You can see he's running pretty low on food back in the base. 4 villagers going to be out on gold now. He's making his way in with the sheep, but beautiful berry spawns back here for Marinelord. I don't know whether he's scouted that just yet, but obviously playing the Abbasid, it's always going to be a focus of your playstyle to go for those berries. So you can see that he's spotted out, I think, 3 berries here. He's going to be extra happy when he spots these berries back behind his base. This is a beautiful spawn for Marinelord. He's also got he's got double connected forests, which is another really good thing. So you can see here that Beastie Cutie doesn't really have double connected forest. They're on the opposite sides of the town center, whereas this, we've got the forest on both sides. So it's going to be very easy for Marinelord to drop a wall in here and then to subsequently look to wall off the rest of this map. And then that'll give him a great little pocket at the back here. But that's on the condition that he does scout it out. He can always come down, you know, to this position as well, look to scout out that gold mine, but obviously there's always the risk that a villager might move forward when you have your walls out that far. But now we see the House of Wisdom going to be going up with the economic wing. Plenty of villagers here on wood, 4 villagers on gold, and just a handful on food. You can see he's got all of his villagers already stacked up. He's doing a great job with his macro. Probably going to be looking just to play the standard build order here, which is going to be the early wheelbarrow into the fresh foodstuffs build order. At least that's what we've been seeing out of a lot of these Abbasid players. Moving back over to the base of Beastie Cutie, though, we see Beastie has subsequently dropped down his school of cavalry, and he's beginning to rally towards his enemy, but not particularly aggressive. 2 scouts out so far. 14 sheep for Beastie Cutie. 14 sheep. I thought this guy was from Eastern Europe. I didn't realize he was a New Zealander, but there you go. But Marinelord only using the 1 scout. Obviously, he's not too fussed about getting sheep. And now we do see those walls coming down. So this is exactly what you want to be looking for. But now we do see the wheelbarrow is coming in. Fresh food stuff's going to be coming in shortly. You can see that Marinelord is under attack on this gold mine. But to be honest, this is way too late to be coming in. These villagers are going to be absolutely fine. He's going to be able to bring them in quite shortly, I suspect. Still yet to get that enough resources for it, but going to be dropping down to barracks at this stage, getting it down pretty early, anticipating the potential knight that is going to come in. I wouldn't even say potential knight, I would say inevitable knight, but Beastie got to be looking out for these villagers. You can see that they are low health, these villagers, and he does get enough resources to get that fresh food stuffs in, so he'll be researching that immediately. There it is. But yeah, these villagers, you want to avoid keeping them out far. So ideally, you'd want them underneath the town center, maybe even on straggler trees, like, to be honest, because if you've got them out here, he's actually gathering up more gold. Oh, so he's looking to get more gold for the upgrade here. He needs to get 75 gold, and that's why he's got villagers so heavily on gold here. But yeah, ideally, you'd keep these underneath the town center, just because the likelihood of a knight coming in here and killing everybody, very, very high. But yeah, continuing out here to struggle quite a bit. Spear going to be coming out, going to be shutting this down. Villager moving out across the map from Beastie Cutie as well. Now, keep in mind, the burden is definitely on Beastie Cutie in this game. He needs to be the one who is utilizing agency. He needs to try and make something happen. Because for the Abbasid dynasty, you can see the barracks goes down, a small defense is going to be coming in, and then the stone mine is going to be taken eventually. So we'll watch to see that happen, but behind this, Beastie already going for an early blacksmith. Moving out with the knight now, is dropping down that outpost, and you can see the villager going to be under significant stress here as the spearman begins to move out towards that position. A responsive outpost, or an outpost, reactive outpost, probably a little bit better. Going to be coming down here, but got to be careful because the knight's charging in now. Marinelord not paying attention. First villager going to take a hit. Going to be taking a shot if it's not careful. Looks like he's going to be able to get through. You can see the spear looking to connect. Villager does go down. It's the first one of the game. Marinelord going to be losing it. So unfortunate position, and does manage to take out the first spear here as well. So the consequence of not investing heavily into spears, but rather looking to get the upgrade, is going to really hurt him here, because you can see he's got up 175 gold right now. What was he planning to do with that gold? Was it a little bit of an overgather? I think one of the things that can happen in this situation is that players typically can almost look, yeah, and you can see Hardened Spearman coming in right now for Marinelord, and he's on farms already. Oh no, Marinelord, look at this. This is absolutely terrible for him. And this all just simply comes down to not making spears. So if he had just had 3 spears, he's able to defend this. He's able to stay on berries. He's able to get that upgrade that comes in because he's able to hold his gold mine. He's able to get that outpost up. But now as a result, he doesn't have enough food. Well, not that he didn't have enough food, but he wasn't using his villagers to focus on gathering the food. Subsequently, has them on the gold, and he stacked up a whole bunch of gold, and as a result, now he's really getting, really having a tough time. Knight now moving in on the back line. Villager coming around towards the berries. Obviously, Beastie Cutie knows about the double berry patch here, so he is going to be looking to do a fair bit of damage. Archer coming out right now as well. Double Archer coming out for Marinelord. What is this all about? Marinelord, what are you up? What are you thinking right now? So Marinelord, despite only seeing at this stage a Royal Knight, decides to create archers. So very curious decision. Wall trying to go down here, but not going to have success. We'll check back in with Beastie. Beastie going to be going archers himself. But yeah, this is very curious. And now that outpost is going to be coming up. I guess the archers will stop the tower push. I guess that's probably what he's thinking. So going spears and archers in this situation. But it's going to be difficult to win the early game. Outpost now coming down as well. Golden Age Tier 1 getting deactivated. I'm not sure exactly what happened back there in the base of Marinelord, but now you can see those villagers going to be jumping inside the outpost. Only 4 out of 5. There's got space in there for a 5th one, but turns out not everybody wants to get in the bed. But now Marinelord, once again, going to be managing to hold onto this position. Still yet to gather up any stone. So, honestly, great job from Beastie at this point in time to be able to control the map so well. He's done a really good job of just keeping Marinelord in his base, constantly fighting. We'll now change perspective over to Beastie Cutie and see exactly what he's up to. You can see that outpost going to be going down. I think did he manage to get the villager out? I don't think he did. Villager did go down there for Beastie Cutie. He might be coming out with another one. Do we have more? No, it looks like it's just going to be archers for the moment. But now the wood line looks like villagers might be going down if he's not careful. Managing to make their way back to the town center. One of them does go down, and it looks like all the rest are going to get in safely, but this is the consequence of not walling across like this. Typically, you'd like to see a wall coming in like that. Just help out a little bit more in the defense, but now we hear more scouts calls coming out. Plenty of scouts calls, and I'm immediately drawn to the fact that I'm in the position where if I'm watching Beastie, I'm just hearing scouts calling all the time, and if I'm watching Marinelord, I'm just hearing attack animations going off all the time. And so I don't know who I should be watching or which perspective I should be going from. I would love if the developers gave me an option to not hear player call-outs or voice lines when I'm watching it. I'd love to be able to turn it off, but unfortunately there is no option, because otherwise I lose all my effects. I lose, you know, whenever there's a cannon blast. Not that there's cannons, but, well, there is cannons, actually. Whenever I hear a cannon blast, then that would get turned off as well. So, yeah, frustrating, but unnecessary evil. But Marinelord now still building up this force, but this is exactly what Beastie Cutie wants, because Beastie Cutie has forced him to play into feudal. And that's okay, but the real issue for him is that he's delayed this town center. That is essentially where Beastie has had a big victory here. Now, Beastie at the same time, only 5 villages on gold, so he's thinking about playing feudal. He is not looking at going up to castle at this point in time. Obviously, a lot of villages on wood as well. Wouldn't be surprised if we've got... No, we don't have double broadaxe, but normally you would see about 10 or 11 villages if he was thinking about going to castle. But instead, going to be dropping down a battering ram. Going to be looking to get his hands a little bit dirty. Now units moving out towards this position. We talked a little bit earlier about this wall coming down, but obviously this wall is a little bit further out than what you would like. And so as a result makes it a bit more difficult to defend. So you can obviously go for a wall across here. And it's probably going to be a similar cost. You'd probably have to wall that in though. It would probably be a similar cost, but it would just be easier to defend. But now you can see that the force is going to be moving out towards this position. Village is going to take a little bit longer to get over to this point to be able to defend it. But now Marinelord going to be moving out, managing to cover it, but then Beastie Cutie scouts it out. He falls back from his position very wisely, and now first battering ram moving in and doing a great job. And so this is exactly it, where there's sort of this difficult position because you've got like a seesaw effect, like, okay, I want to come and hold this battering ram, but at the same time I need to defend this wall. Village are going to be coming down, repairing that one up, and now Scout's going to be falling back into the town center. Knight going to be absolutely angry at him. Villagers, or spearmen rather, those spearmen and villagers look so similar when they've got their torches out. They look identical. I wish they'd carry their spears on their back or something like that. Make it much easier for us to see. But battering ram potentially going to be going down here, as well as the second one. A little bit of a misplay there from Beastie Cutie. Had the archers out of position. Manages to fall back. He's going to have to bring a villager out to heal that one up. And now a little bit of a fight going to begin. We'll enter into the cinematic mode to begin it. And Camel got to be careful. It stands on the front line. You can see the Knight's going to be moving in and looking to strike it. At the same time, as long as that Camel stays up, damage is going to stay down for the Knights. Knights making their way around. And Archer's going to be looking to trade out with the spears here. Camel still holding on, but just unfortunately, I'd like to say good micro, but Beastie Cutie just running his Knights around. I feel like he was just sort of soaking up damage there, and now we see Marinelord is going to be able to push out from this position here. He's going to be able to hold. He's going to be able to find a nice little window to get that second town center up for himself. So we head back towards the base, and you can see he's gathered up 200 of that 300 stone, and now going to be taking down that battering ram. You can see the spearmen moving forward. But you got to be careful. Beastie obviously has a lot of wood in the bank right now. So this is, it's something that could very quickly turn into a large amount of military. We'll have a look at what his production is. Only got the 2 archery ranges and the School of Cavalry. Honestly, at this point, I would have thought he would have had a barracks and another stable. So interesting to see that he doesn't yet and hasn't gone for that 1-1-1 yet. But he's moving out to the stone outcropping himself. Oh my god, he's got so much... He's got so much wood. I'm thinking, does he go for a potential 2 town center play here? And it honestly wouldn't be bad. Against Abbasid, I 100% think you could get away with this. You know that Abbasid is going for his second town center. You can see right here. You can see he's going for a 3rd town center, actually. He's gathered up 400 stones so far. He is 100% going for a second town center. And nice little try here with the quick walls. Villager going to try and make its way skating along the edge of the map here. But yeah, this is very interesting coming out. Because this is being telegraphed over to Beastie. He knows. So he spots this second town center coming up, and at the same time, he knows that his enemy is going for a 3rd one, but now Knight's going to be moving in on the back line here, trying their best to come in. You can see that town center going to be going up. They're going to be looking to focus down the villagers. Villagers got to be careful here. They are going to be fighting themselves or fighting their enemies. Spear's going to be looking to try and fend off that position, and indeed they do. Villager looking to actually get out. He's got that wheelbarrow. He's got to have that wheelbarrow. There's no way he's moving that fast without that damn wheelbarrow. He is going... look at him go. He's just an absolute sprinter. But Knight's now continuing to round the corner, and you can see that he's still gathering up that stone. He's actually over-gathering right now. He's over-gathering by about 30, which you can definitely accept would be a mistake. A mistake is probably the best way to say that. Second town center now coming down. 3rd town center going to be coming down for Beastie Cutie. So definitely making the right choice here. I 100% think that this is the right play to go. The fact that you've spotted out the stone from your enemy, you see that they are doing 3 TCs. A lot of people would look at the French and say, okay, well, French versus Abbasid. Abbasid are going to have a much better window than the French. Yes, that is true, but at the same time, French 3 TCs is going to produce a lot faster than Abbasid. Oh my god, I thought, is he going for 4 town centers? He could totally do it. It'd be a little bit crazy. I don't think he'd have the food resources for it, to be honest. But now we'll check in with Marinelord and see what he's up to. You can see Marinelord's actually looking to try and get to Castle Age, and this is the problem for Beastie Cutie, is that the timing window for Marinelord is that early Castle Age. Now, it's been delayed. At this point, it has been delayed you know, quite well. You can see the gold mine back here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few more villagers moving over onto that just to help him get up to the next stage a little bit quicker. You can see he's got plenty of resources in the bank. Marinelord really trying to hold on at this point in time. Raid going to continue coming down. Villager screaming out that she didn't want to finish that house, I'm assuming. But yeah, so at this point in the game, it definitely feels like a 3 town center play from Marinelord, and he's got the second town center. At least he's got the stone for the second, or for the third town center, but hasn't gone for it. And now we see Beastie Cutie going to be under potential attack. He has gone for a third town center himself, so didn't go for that fourth town center like I alluded to. Obviously I was joking, guys. Obviously I was joking. That was absolutely crazy. No one of sound mind would actually go for a fourth town center. Mr. Viper, I'm looking at you. But now, at the same time, this push going to be coming out. Interestingly, not a lot of horsemen coming out for Beastie Cutie at this point in time. And normally you would see a lot of horsemen coming out against an archer composition like this, but it is not the case. Looks like more raids going to be continuing to come in. Archers up towards the north of the base here. Going to be looking to defend. Battering ram going to be coming up, presenting itself, saying, "Take me, daddy, take me." Let's see how effective that is as the archers continue to focus down. The archers on the back line. Still no horsemen coming out for Beastie Cutie at this point. Going to be looking to mainly just go for those royal knights. Probably do a little bit better up against this sort of composition with the camel in here as well. But raids all over the map. Look at this. Knights just coming through the base right now, despite the huge amount of units that are on the front line here, where you would expect Beastie would just pull everything. He is instead just continuing to just throw enemy units or his units away. Like these archers, these 10 archers could be so useful back here in the base, but at the same time, I mean, we see Marinelord, he's around here, but he's just looking and he's like, well, I don't know where I should go. He's got no scouting information, and this all goes back to the fact he opened with 1 scout. So he's still got that. He's still got 2 TCs, what was I going to say there? 2 T-Counters. I think I was going to say like 2 town centers, 2 TCs. So he's still got 2 TCs. He had to drop the third one, even though he can afford it right now. So a little bit of a mistake there. I would honestly just be grabbing all these villages and dropping it down over here. It looks like that's what he's going to be doing. Okay, third town center just going to get dropped in this wood line. So it makes a lot of sense, keeping it close to the wood lines. But now going to be able to clean up this raid towards the back. He's got all of his walls up. There is someone somewhere breaking through these walls. I suspect it's probably just coming up through this northern passage. But the big thing is, Beastie Cutie has taken the enemy victory condition and turned it on its head. So in this situation, normally the Abbasid player's victory condition is, I'm going to get castle and I'm going to push you with a giant military mass. Well, Beastie Cutie is sitting on 70 villages right now, and only 63 coming out for Marinelord. And that's going to continue to get worse when Castle Age is actually reached for Marinelord. And so, or for Beastie Cutie. Marinelord, on the other hand, I don't even think, he doesn't know about this stone. He pushed in, he came in from this angle, and then he went north. He hasn't scouted this. Like, we look from his perspective, he does not have any scouting information whatsoever. He's got no idea what his enemy is up to. So he's got no idea that the 3 town centers, the secret 3 town center, is coming out right now for Beastie Cutie. And you got to say, like, it is just so smart to be doing this. It is literally the secret 3 town centers that's happening, because from Marinelord's perspective, he's just thinking, all right, it's French 1 base, it's French 2 base, that sort of thing. Well, no, it's French 3 base, and French 3 base destroys Abbasid 3 base, with the exception of that early castle window. But you can see that even Marinelord having a bit of a difficult time working up towards that castle window. So Beastie is going to be able to get up there himself with the 3 town centers ahead of Marinelord. And to be honest, he's probably pulling very far ahead in score. We take a look right now, it's 25-70 versus 25-20. But you can see that now that Beastie's reached Castle Age, it immediately updates to reflect an 800 score difference. So that is exactly where it should be. And by the same token, you got to feel sorry for Marinelord, or not feel sorry, but feel bad for Marinelord in this position. Sure, his villages are cheaper than what his enemy is paying. He's paying 25, whereas enemy is paying 50. So for a round of villages, they're paying 75 versus 150. So he's getting a 75 saving there. But you got to remember at the same time that the French villagers are also training faster. So they train 1 villager every 16 seconds. So he doesn't have 3 town centers. He's got the equivalent to, I think it works out to be about 3.6 town centers. So really, really decent amount of scaling that is happening right now for our French player as well. And he's got a lot of potency when it comes to the late game as well. He can bring 40, 50 villagers forward and drop a red palace or a red castle right in the base. of his enemy, and it's going to be so difficult to stop, and just going to be such a great anchor point for him to drop those trebuchets down, drop a cannon down, get the springalds out, all that kind of stuff, because I suspect that's what he's going to be looking for, because we can continue to see Beastie sits on 93 villages at the moment, 77 for Marinelord, so still up by about 20 villages. Battering ram coming into the side, so wasted a bit of wood here, and now looking to try and use it, buy a bit of time. Battering ram going to be coming up towards the north here on this position as well. Looks like the age up has come through. It's going to be the culture wing that comes through for Marinelord in this position, and just dropping down a little bit of infrastructure here on the front. And this is what I was talking about with that early castle age timing. This early castle age timing normally comes in about 12 minutes. Look at Marinelord. It's 20 minutes right now. Beastie Cutie has delayed him so much, so far, that this timing, it's not really a timing anymore. He's got 7 barracks that are going to get dropped down like, yeah, great job, mate. But at the end of the day, there's just, the window is out the window right now. The timing window is completely gone. Once again, Knight's looking. Oh, Knight's distracting. Knight's going to be able to find a villager kill here. Managed to continue coming down. So a little bit, I would say that, I don't know if that's a bug. I don't know why that happens, but I hate that. I really wish that wouldn't happen. You should not be able to kill a villager through a wall with a Knight. I appreciate your sword is long, mate, but it doesn't have the ability to poke through walls. Yeah, now we can continue to see that Beastie at this point in time is adding more infrastructure back to the base. He's adding down a whole bunch of farms coming down right now. You can check the villages. We can see 8 farms in total at the moment, but obviously he's added in a whole bunch more. And now, infrastructure-wise, he's continuing to think about his unit composition. Keep going to be coming up in the middle as well. So he's looking to try and take control of the center of the map, try and take control of the wood resources, try and take control of the stone, and it makes a lot of sense. So as the game continues moving forward, I would expect that he looks to try and take control of the large gold vein. So I would expect that we'd have a keep down in this position potentially. And we now have the veteran spearmen coming through, and you've got to be so careful against these veteran spearmen. These veteran spearmen absolutely fuck. Don't mess with them. Marinelord now, you can see he's just stacking up so many resources though. More than 1,000 of every resources at this point. Let's have a look at his production. He's sitting on 7 barracks at this point. He's got 2 archery rangers just making crossbows. So he's going for a crossbow slash spearman composition. And you guys might look at spearmen and think that it's a bit of a joke or a bit of a meme, but to be honest, spearmen are such an incredible unit, especially for the Abbasid dynasty. They trade very effectively, and that's the thing. You look at the spearmen and you're like, oh yeah, it's fodder. That's what you need to remember. It's fodder. It just so easily and happily dies, but that's okay because you so easily and happily replace it. So it only takes 15 seconds to make. I don't actually think he's got the upgrade for it yet. Doesn't have military academy just yet. But another raid, once again, coming through on the back line. So this wall, even though it's up, hasn't been extended down to the town center just yet. Now battering ram moving forward. Outpost going to be providing a bit of line of sight here in the middle. Probably a couple of springled emplacements as well. But Beastie Cutie just doing a great job of keeping tabs on his enemy. Those knights going to be falling back towards the wall. And now it looks like Relic's going to get taken out as well slowly. A Marinelord as well to the north, getting made by our Abbasid player, and it looks like that battering ram might be going down. Villagers have been pulled. It's 9 villagers. Springwood going to be opening up on them. Not going to be able to take it down, though. And now it looks like we've got double siege workshop coming out for Mr. Beastie himself. Beautiful macro here. We talked about Marinelord before. Marinelord was sitting at 1,000 of every resource. Beastie Cutie, on the other hand, he's got 970 stone. But, you know, we can always make an exception for that because it's highly likely that a keep is going to be coming down very shortly, and we'll take that down to 0. So we'll see exactly what he does, what he looks to do with it. But he's got a lot of villagers on stone at the moment, and it really wouldn't be surprising to see him dropping down a keep on these resources on the outsides of the map. Knights going down. I failed to see exactly what that was about. I think they might have been diving for the mangonel. A stone wall that was going to go down for Beastie Cutie. Not going to be able to go down. You can see he's working on it towards this position, but that military force is going to be moving through. And now firing down on that villager. He's not going to be able to get up that stone wall. He's going to be working his way towards the enemy base. A quick stock take reveals 105 villagers right now for Marinelord. 132 for Beastie Cutie. So about a 25 villager lead for him. He has hit his max population, or essentially where he wants to be. And you can see just how fast or how much of that of those resources are coming through. And this is the death timing push. Now keep in mind, this timing push was delayed significantly. This is coming in about 10 minutes late, honestly. It should have been here about 10 minutes ago. So Mr. Marinelord, you're definitely a little bit behind, but we can see from Beastie Cutie's perspective, he manages with the springalds on the edge, picks off the mangonel as well as the springalds of his enemy. A bit of a raid coming down, and there's the keep coming down on the gold vein, as I expected. And I suspect we'll probably get the same thing up towards the north. It's really about securing these keeps, these large gold veins for the late game. It's going to be so important that he does that. And now Springald's once again firing off towards this position. You can see them doing a fair bit of damage here to the battering ram. But now the enemy Springald's moving up, and now we might have a bit of a fight unfolding as we enter into the cinematic mode. Archers looking to try and trade out against those spearmen with the phalanx upgrade. Going to have plenty of space, but now leaving their comrades, their counterparts on the back line. The archers completely open, and it looks like a combination of Arbaletria as well as those knights going to be able to melt through here. And just this push getting slowly but steadily shut down. You can hear all the Abbasid voice lines just... I could have been an Abbasid archer. I really could have. I do it perfectly. But unfortunately, Marinelord doesn't do it perfectly because he's not doing too well. At the same time, he's managing to clean up his position towards the north here, slowly but steadily pushing out of his base. But at the same time, remember, Beastie Cutie is taking map control. You've got stone walls that have come up in this position. He's now putting up new wooden walls. Looks like a wolf decided to get in on the action here. Now going to be working down this farm. Never a good time. More archers coming around. He spots out one of the 2 town centers here. I think he might have already spotted out this one, so he does realize his enemy's on 3 town centers. He might be in a bit of trouble. Beastie Cutie stacking up a huge amount of resources. Trebuchet has finally come out now for Marinelord. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the counter Trebuchets coming out. In fact, it's just going to be Mangonels and Springalds and 4 siege workshops coming out for Mr. Beastie Cutie. So no real surprise there. You can see Sacred Site is slowly being captured up. Villagers moving out down towards this gold mine as well. He doesn't yet have acid distillation. Obviously got that specialized pick though. This keep going to be able to get up in reach of that Sacred Site. But I think that Monk should be safe. Trebuchet going to be moving back now. We'll take a look from the perspective of Marinelord, exactly what he sees. And he does spot out these Springalds moving in slowly but steadily and has to fall back with the Trebuchet. So having his own siege workshop out now is going to be researching greased axles. The mass for Marinelord continues to build. So you can see that not a lot in queue at the moment. He's sitting at 181 population. Could be looking towards an Imperial Age. I wouldn't be surprised. More outposts going to be coming up here as well. But when it comes to the resources that he's got behind his lines, he's got 385 gold back here. Realistically, that is it. Look at the farms that are going down from Marinelord here. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, the way that he's done this. 10 out of 10, Marinelord. Looks very nice, mate. You get a 10. And now we've got a counter wall coming through for Beastie Cutie. Probably doesn't realize exactly how far his enemy is through on that on that wood line. He's one chop of the way through. But now attacks happening on multiple fronts. Looks like the Camel Riders down towards the south coming out for Marinelord here. Gonna get cleaned up here by the army of Beastie Cutie. Beastie Cutie doing a great job of just taking map control. Gonna be losing his keep in the center of the map here. The keep of his opponent, protecting those trebuchets. You can see them sitting safely behind there, and that is exactly what the current meta looks like. That is the quintessential meta at the moment. But now we've got another keep coming down on the back line for Beastie Cutie. A huge amount of infrastructure going to be coming down for him as well. You can see he's up to 25 military production facilities with a whole bunch of stuff that's coming down here. 4 stables, 3 archery ranges. So he is really looking to maximize his enlistment incentives. So for anybody unfamiliar, the French actually do get a nice bonus in the late game. It helps out with their unit replacements, but not so much with their army strength. So it's a really good way to constantly reinforce. So an upgrade that really synergizes well with this is Military Academy, and you can see the Beastie Cutie is going to be researching that. And so essentially by putting these stables and archery ranges near the French keeps, you're going to be reducing the cost down of your units. So you can see here 56 food for a scout, or 112 and 80 for the veteran Royal Knight. But compare that towards a normal stable, and you're going to be paying much more. So 112.80 versus 140.100. So I think the way that it works out is for every 4 that you pay for, you can get a 5th one for free if it's next to a keep. But you can see Beastie Cutie going to be trying his best to hold on towards this position. Has managed to get that Springald in placement. They're going to be firing down on the villagers. Has hit the Imperial Age. We have a red palace coming in at the north of the map on the gold vein, as we expected would be coming through. And now Knight's going to be pushing back some villagers from that mill. Imperial Age going to be coming through from his opponent as well, so it looks like the military wing is going to be coming through. But this is really all it comes down to, and now we sort of enter into the late game phase here. So more infrastructure coming down as well for Mr. Marinelord. And you might be, you know, we actually did a tier list where we talked about late game situations. And French is one of the lowest rated civilizations in my opinion. The Abbasid dynasty, one of the highest rated civilizations. But in my opinion, we're not going into an even late game. It might look like it, you know, when you look at the military count or the tech or anything like that. But in my opinion, I don't think this is even at all. When it comes to the way that the game is being controlled, Beastie Cutie has a massive advantage in this position. He has a huge amount of map control. He has a huge amount of infrastructure that is sitting back in his base, and he's got so much prepared for the late game when it comes out. He's got this large gold vein. He's got another gold vein here. This one in the back of his base as well, which still sits very capable to be used. And he will be exhausting these ones on the front before he goes for the ones on the back. So it's important to remember that, because that is a safe one. That is 100% his. So ideally, he wants to look to try and take that. Now the village is going to be looking to take out these counterweight trebuchets. They were trying their best to fire off at the buildings of Beastie Cutie, but slowly and steadily they do go down. You can see the villagers all gathering around, looking to try and siege or stab down those units. And now the Springald mass really starting to build up for Marinelord. He's sitting on 8 Springalds at the moment. Going to continue adding in more and more siege at this point, but obviously the more siege you add in, the less mobile you are, the more immobile you are, the less you can run around the map and come down and contest this position, go and contest this in the middle, go and contest this keep. But now you can see the mass beginning to build up from his enemy at the same time, going to be doing the same thing. Springald's going to be taking out that trebuchet. He's got plenty more trebuchets where that came from. In fact, one more trebuchet where that came from. And still we see Beastie Cutie with these walls up. I'd love to see him start to connect these walls. Would definitely help him out a huge amount just on controlling the narrative down towards this position. You can see the villagers running rampant down here towards this this south area. But now Trebuchet going to continue unfolding in the middle of the map. Cannon's going to be getting all that DPS out. Looks like this keep might go down unless villagers get pulled towards this position. Indeed, it does go down. Trebuchet? No, it looks like Cannon's just going to be able to take it down. But now we continue to hear those cannons just firing off, doing so much damage as well, being able to just do 600 damage a pop. Springalds, however, saying, "G'day, mate, how you going?" and introduce themselves to those cannons, and the cannons, unfortunately, not being too much of a fan of the Springals, it seems. But now Marinelord looking to try and push out of his base. He once was on the back foot. We'll turn it over to income per minute so you guys can get a good idea of where these guys are at with regard to their income. A couple of idle villagers here on the front line. Marinelord sitting on 113 at the moment. Compare that over to 131 for Beastie. He has reached his maximum amount of villagers. But still, yeah, we don't really see a big amount of production coming through for him. I say that, but there's a whole bunch of forces that are coming through. Also going for elite. Is that elite Royal Knights? Oh gosh, I can't even see it. Elite Royal Knights. Indeed, it is coming through. This keep was trying to go down, but obviously Springald's going to be pushing out, managing to take down the Springalds of his enemy. You've got to be careful in this position because the spears could come out. These stabby boys definitely like to stab very far. Red Palace going to be focus firing this down. Look at the damage that comes out from the Red Palace. He needs to put 15 villagers inside this, otherwise he's going to be losing all these. Let's see what he opts to do with it. But now attacks happening down on the south side of the map. Looks like he's going to be able to break through the wall. So it looks like we've almost got ourselves a bit of a star right here. You can see all of the walls have diverged on a single forest that used to be. And now it just acts as a, you know, now it's a wasteland. 50,000 people used to live here. Now it's a what? Well, I can never remember what it is. Now it's a wasteland. I don't know. It's something like that. Elite Spearmen coming through. You can see the golden spots on their head, and it looks absolutely awesome now. Golden spears. Still not yet in the game. A man can dream about golden spears. Though I did see a YouTube comment saying, there's a reason we don't make spears out of gold, Drongo. It just doesn't hold up. Push coming to shove in the middle of the map, though. Beastie falling back. Mangonels coming out now as well for him. So 3 Mangonels. Obviously, a lot of Springalds can be made in response. And now in the middle of the map, it looks like Marinelord going to be comfortably taking the wood. He's slowly but steadily expanded out. A very methodical push from him. He has also got elite army tactics here. Going to be having a little bit more health on his units. But we don't really see a diverse composition here. He's got archers, only a handful. Crossbows, barely more than 10. Or barely more than 5, rather. And 31 spears at this point in time. And now going to be pushing down towards this position on the south. Elite horsemen going to be coming out. No melee upgrades whatsoever. Despite facing almost infinite amounts of spearmen, still no melee upgrades. At the same time, cannons or bombards on the north of the map going to get taken out there by the Springalds. Trebuchet is also doing some work. Continuing to unfold, those horsemen going to be leading down all the units down towards the keep. This guy's obviously got his boiling oil in as well, ready to go. So if anybody gets too close, he will do damage. And now it looks like the wall has come across for Marinelord. I wouldn't call that a particularly strong wall, though. It is a questionable wall at best. And look at the splits now coming in from Beastie Cutie. He is looking to play mobility. First group of cavalry, second group of cavalry. At the same time, sitting underneath his keeps. He's got mangonels. He's got springalds. He knows what he's doing. He is the late game master. So we literally have the late game master on the, in my opinion, one of the worst late game civs. I'm trying to remember back to my tier list. I think other than the Delhi, the French are probably the worst late game civilization, but you can see the way that he's playing it. Despite being with what many would consider to be the worst late game civilization, he is micromanaging like a maniac. He is in all spots of the map. You can see he's raiding in multiple areas here. Villager count for him sits at 126, but over for his opponent, he's on 97. That's going to continue to fall as we see knights getting thrown in the mix here as well as these horsemen. Knights obviously elite upgraded. The same horsemen are also elite upgraded. So he's got plenty of upgrades. And remember, he's got access to that gold. When we look at the gold here for Marinelord, this is the last gold for him. It is in the north of the map. That is literally it. Whereas for Beastie Cutie, he's got 5.8 here. He's got 1.2 here. And he's got this one back here with 2k on it as well. Ideally, these villagers should be up on the front line, taking that one out first. But yeah, he's just doing so well to take control of the map. 87 villagers now for Marinelord. But keep in mind, every villager that is killed, it is replaced with a military unit. And that is something that you've got to be careful of. But now we can see this wall slowly but steadily getting extended. Ideally, you'd delete the mining camp and just wall in completely. But even then, I feel like you're just going to get run around non-stop. There's no real way that you can trap these units other than like maybe getting a wall in. If you somehow manage to wall in this position with villagers and then wall in like that, then maybe you can do it. But now Spear's going to be coming in. Even with decent connections, you can see like that was a great connection. The horsemen are just able to run away, and the elite knight's able to do the same thing. Just able to run away, and the Spear's going to be chasing them for days. And they're always going to be behind. So they'll pick up a villager here, villager there, and slowly but steadily dwindle down the population of Marinelord. Marinelord just, I feel like Marinelord at this point in time doesn't really have a plan. Not necessarily a plan, but a clear path to victory. Is going to be looking to diversify into trade now, so probably a smart move. You can see he is moving down there, but obviously in this position, he's not going to have the most effective trade route. Now, all of the units, or all of the knights going to be coming in here with the horsemen. Spear's also looking to protect, managing to do that. Marinelord now going to be under significant threat. You can see the spears having to fall back. The mangonels obviously looking to do some potential damage. Plenty of damage going to be coming out from these guys as well. I don't think enough to get a one-shot off, but we'll look out for it. We'll enter into the cinematic mode now as the Springalds look to take out the enemy Springled over towards that position. And now mangonels firing a huge amount of damage landing on those spears at the same time. Springalds going to have to fall back. Mangonel's got to look to protect these units. Mangonels, they need to turn around, otherwise all of these units are going to go down. You can see the Springalds just racing away right now. They're putting down their foot. They are accelerating away at the same time. Those units up towards the north going to get found out, or at least going to spot those markets. And now heading back towards the Red Palace. You've got to retreat when you spot that Red Palace. It is almost impossible to take that out with units. And nice little fadeaway shot there coming through from the Mangonels back up towards the north. Have the traders begun yet? Let's take a look and see. It doesn't look like it just yet. Still no traders out for Mr. Marinelord. He does still have access to the trade wing if he so pleases. He can go into that. So that will unlock Grand Bazaar. That will unlock Spice Roads, unlock armored caravans for him as well. But at the same time, I mean, he's in such a difficult position. Doesn't really have a safe trading line. And you can see right now, the wall is going to be coming up for him. But at the same time, it's just a palisade wall. And his enemy's still going to be able to run in behind it. So we can see that now those spears looking to get cleaned up as well. If they're not careful, these guys are elite. I'm pretty sure they got their upgrades. They've got 2 out of 3 upgrades, so not doing terribly. But look at the mass. Oh my lord, look at the mass coming through right now. That is a big Abbasid army. That is a big Abbasid army. It's coming in. They are angry. They are hot. They are spicy. Ladies and gentlemen, watch out. The villagers running away, carrying their stone with them in their hands, trying their best to get out of there. Mangonel shots flinging off into the distance. Sacred site. You can see it right there. It is on your screen. If you couldn't read, you can now read, hopefully, and understand exactly what that sacred site is all about, because it is time to neutralize them. All 3 have been captured now for Beastie Cutie, and you just got to admire the way that he's played the late game. Just constantly delayed the Abbasid player, just been in the base, always multitasking him, always raiding him, always just in there. And honestly, the biggest problem that Marinelord had was just not walling sooner. Had he got walls up at a sooner point, he would have been okay. But now Marinelord going to be under significant threat here as the big battle begins. We've got spears that are just out in force. You can see how many of them are here. Villagers going to have to fall back from this position. At the same time, crossbows coming out as well, and just so many spears right now. They are looking to try and find that enemy siege. Ideally, going to be getting in on top of those mangonels. Only 3 mangonels out. Honestly, I would have expected that we'd have a few more mangonels coming out in this position. Raids happening all over the map. You can hear those units just firing off towards all of the infrastructure buildings, but at the same time, towards the north, you can see that the raids continue. Have we got ourselves some more traders? Let's take a look and see. Traders are in 103 gold. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's better than nothing because right now Marinelord is completely out of gold. That was his last gold mine that has been taken. Whereas Mr. Beastie Cutie just sits over here with 5,000 gold left in this bad boy. This one's got none on it. This one's got none on it. So that is going to be it for him. But Marinelord's got to be careful. He doesn't want to split up his army in this position. If he splits up his army, he's going to have a bit more trouble because Beastie has got that mobility. And speaking of mobility, once again, we talked about this a little bit earlier. He's going to just be running around the map, easily able to come behind these walls simply because they're not completely walled in. And now we see the elite horse. You know what I just realized? Can we get an upgrade in Imperial that allows you to connect your walls to buildings? Oh my god, can we get that? Make it at the university, call it like walling infrastructure. Something like that. And it just enables you to like draw your wall to this building, and then it's like it's sealed in. A spearman mass slowly building here for Marinelord. He's down to 183 population. At the same time, he's got a huge mass of forces that just continue to run in. I think he's tried to move them back, but at the same time, a keep goes up. You can see he's trying to work his way back in underneath the keep. The red palace just going to be firing off. It's got that boiling oil as well. Mangonels on the back line going to be firing off. Rebellion coming in right now. All of the forces going down for Marinelord. He's down to 144 population at this point in time. All of his forces have gone down. The keep does in fact get up for his opponent. Beastie Cutie manages to stabilize on this position, losing out the sacred site, but at the same time, he has just been behind the enemy base. Absolute damage being done, and good game gets called. That is it. That is 3-1 over to Beastie Cutie. He wins the series, moves on to the next round. Ladies and gentlemen, what an absolute pleasure it was casting this series. These two guys, rank 1, rank 2. Oh my lord. Holy dooly. What an impressive game they played. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.